Hello, I'm James, and I'm going to be talking about robots in agriculture. I've competed in Pi Wars 2019, Virtual Pi Wars 2020, and I'm going to compete in Virtual Pi Wars 2021. So, benefits of robots in agriculture. There's less soil compaction because the robots are quite often lighter than conventional tractors, which helps with the crops growing because they can push their roots down easier, and it also helps with flooding because the water can drain in easier. It's not only flooding of fields, but also things like houses and roads can also flood. There's less environmental and ecological damage, so it's less environmental damage because the robots quite often run off, say, electricity or hydrogen or other sustainable fuel sources, which is much better than a diesel engine putting out all the greenhouse gases. There's also less ecological damage because, say, with the sprays, there's quite a lot of you're just putting chemicals over the field, which is very bad for wildlife. But a lot of robots are trying to experiment with other ways of killing weeds. There's lower running costs because you don't have to, if you're on a bigger farm, you won't have to employ people to do the work, and electricity is often cheaper than diesel if that's how you're running your robot, and the robots can be more precise. So, technology behind the robots. Most robots are powered by electricity or hydrogen, some are still powered by diesel. Solar panels are often used on robots powered by electricity because it means that they can run for longer without having such big batteries. Autonomous capabilities, so that's similar to the stuff that you'll see in Pi Wars, so that's like LiDAR, GPS cameras, accelerometer, and magnetic compasses. A lot of them have Wi-Fi, so farmers can see what the robot's doing, or download information of it, which is very useful. So some of the examples of the smaller robots. So you've got two from the small robot company. The first one is a farmer can just send it out, and it will be able to scan the field and tell you what's in the fields, which is very useful. See what weeds are and what's growing there. Um, then you've got the first non-chemical robotic weeding for arable crops. So how that works is instead of just spraying the whole field, it's very bad for wildlife. It will give each individual weed an electric shock. Again, this is all-wheel drive and battery powered. The next one uses a Pi 4. It's got 42 horsepower, but it's got 12 horsepower power takeoff for if you've got something heavy, then you can get the robot will get moving with that extra 12 horsepower. There's lots of available attachments as well. So these are the larger farm robots. Most of these are just designed to replace the tractors, kind of do exactly what they do now. So the first one is by Kubota. It's got self-leveling suspension. It's got solar panels and it's battery powered, and it's also got all-wheel drive and tracks to again reduce compaction. This one's quite interesting because in Japan they've got an aging population, so they've been really kind of pushing for autonomous tractors because there's not the same amount of people that can work on the farms because they're getting too old. The next one is Danish. It's powered by, you can get two versions, either powered by one or two Kubota diesel engines. So the one diesel engine is for the lighter tasks and the two diesel engines are for the more powerful tasks that you need that more power. The next one's Chinese, and this one, there's not much information about it, but I find it very interesting because it's powered by hydrogen, which is something new. It's got 5G and it's got 50 horsepower. So, problems with current robots. There's a lack of uptake because it's a new technology. The technology does still need developing. Smaller robots won't usually be as quick because you're not allowed autonomous vehicles on the road yet. You'll still need a conventional tractor to take it between where you need it. They're still quite expensive, and legislation does limit them as you're not allowed to just let it go and you have to be supervising the robots. So the future, most of the robots shown in this PowerPoint were either concepts or prototypes, so they still need developing before they are available to the general public. There's a move towards electricity or other sustainable power sources, such as hydrogen, as we saw. instead of diesel, the robots will get lighter and cheaper as they're more developed. So yeah, thank you for listening.